I'm Yasmin Gagne.
I'm Josh Christensen.
And this is Most Innovative Companies. On today's episode, we recap our time at South by Southwest with Fast Company senior editor Max Ufberg.
On the lower brow list of highlights, I tried the Dubai chocolate.
My conversation with author, activist, and founder of the MeToo Movement, Tarana Burke, on stage at the Fast Company Grill.
If we actually want these things to stop, if we want to make an impact on the issue of sexual and gender-based violence, we have to figure out where the line is and hold the line.
And, as always, keeping tabs.
It's the most petty thing in the world, and I'm so here for it.
But first, here's the download. The news you need to know this week in the world of business and innovation.
So forgive me for sounding like a broken record because we have said this many times. The stock market is down again, continuing a 3-week sell-off. The Dow had its worst day of the year on Monday, falling close to 900 points. And as of recording this, literally things seem a little steadier, but who knows by the time you hear this. So keep checking that stock market app if you want to have another cool flavor to your doom scrolling. So what's causing this downturn? Well, in short, uncertainty.
Shocker.
Tariffs are on, then they're off, then back on. For some products, there is a possibility of a government shutdown at the end of the week if the Senate doesn't manage to come to an agreement on the funding bill just passed by the House. And then there is the dreaded R word, recession. Fears of a possible recession peaked earlier this week after Trump said this in an interview with Maria Bartiromo.
Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that.
The stock market meltdown has been particularly bad news for friend of the pod, Elon Musk. Tesla stock has dropped roughly 50% since hitting its peak in December.
It's not all bad news for the economy. Inflation did slow last month, according to new consumer price index numbers released by the Labor Department. The index showed prices increased by 2.8% in December, down from 3% in January. The decline is better than economists were expecting, although still above the Fed's target of 2%.
And then we come in with tariffs, baby. I swear to God, if I have to say tariff one more time, I'm so tired of saying tariff. Can we find a new word? Can we find a safe word for tariff?
Do you know what the difference is between a tariff and a tax?
A tariff is on imports and taxes are on domestic. Next story, let's get away from the tariff news. Nope, tariffs are in this next newscast story as well. So amid slow sales, a failed merger with Honda and, of course, the pending tariffs have caused Nissan Motors to replace its current CEO, Makoto Uchida, with Ivan Espinosa, the company's current chief planning officer. That's a C-suite job I didn't know existed.
Incredible job.
If I heard CPO, there's like at least 3 other Ps that I would have expected that to be.
Before.
This move takes place in the middle of a restructuring at Nissan, where the company is cutting 9,000 jobs, reducing its production by 20%, and slashing the CEO compensation in half. I'm sure Ivan's super happy about that part.
He planned that.
Espinosa will take over at the helm of Nissan next month.
X, formerly known as Twitter, was down for several hours on Monday after a massive cyberattack, according to Elon Musk. In an interview with Fox Business Network, Musk claimed that the IP addresses of the attackers had originated, quote, in the Ukrainian area. However, cybersecurity experts have disputed this claim. Outage spikes peaked on Monday at 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, with a sustained outage lasting more than an hour occurring at noon.
It was a beautiful, beautiful time. And finally, Canada is going to have a new prime minister. Pour one out for Justin Trudeau. He had a great 11-year run. He was prime minister for like
forever.
10 years, 9
for
years.
a really long time.
It was a long time. He was the leader of the Liberal Party for 11 years and I think prime minister for 9 years.
I'm going to be honest. I know who the prime minister is. The rest of the Canadian government, I'm like...
A little shaky. I'm only... Because I've been talking to Jeff Beer, who is Canadian, so much recently, I've learned a little bit more about Canadian politics. But this is important because we're in the midst of a trade war on tariffs with Canada. So this matters.
There's also been a lot of turmoil in their government over the past couple of years, which me and my husband always joke, we'll see the headline and we're just like, you know what?
It doesn't really matter. Well, Mark Carney is now going to be the next prime minister of Canada ahead of a election election this October where it was going to be the Conservative Party likely to take over, but because of all this trade war stuff with Trump, the Liberal Party has come roaring back. And apparently Mark Carney, according to Jeff Beer, he's my only source on this knowledge, apparently Mark Carney is very popular and has a good chance of maintaining the prime ministership. So a little bit more about Mark Carney's background. Prior to this, Carney spent time running the Bank of Canada, followed by the Bank of England. He also spent a stint as an executive at Goldman Sachs and has served as a special envoy for climate action and finance to the United Nations. He's relatively new to politics, actually.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And that's the news you need to know today. So, Josh, before you moderate a panel or before you go on stage, do you have a pump-up song?
Oh, you know what? I don't think I've ever engaged in pump-up songery for anything in my life. I, as you know, was a performer.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I thought you'd have.
No, I was always pretty relaxed before. Like, I'd do whatever warm-ups that I would need to do for my voice or my body. I'm talking about musical theater at this point, not panels.
La 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 la.
Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. No, and then I would just kind of chill. I don't know. I never had like stage fright or anything like that. I just kind of like done whatever. Do you have a pump up song? Is that a thing for you?
Yes, and it's so embarrassing.
Oh my God, I need to know. Wait. Can I
several
guess? Can I
guess?
guess?
Go.
Okay. Okay. So knowing you, I'm guessing something that's like from a pop girly, but not a modern pop girly. I'm going to guess something like Katy Perry's Firework.
No, what the fuck? I hate that so much.
Okay, I'm joking. No, I mean, maybe, I know you had a little bit of an emo phase. Maybe you're some Fall Out Boy, something like that. What is it?
I have several.
Okay.
Traditionally, it's been hard.
We're gonna make a Spotify playlist for this for listeners to follow.
No.
I'm doing it.
Traditionally, it's been Hard by Rihanna.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And
I wasn't too far off with
You were-
Katy Perry. I was pretty far off.
you were
Time
era,
era,
was
I
right.
was right. Top 40 era, I was right, but very different vibes.
I also listened to Ya Lo Llego by Bad Bunny.
Ey, dime dónde es que está la bebida. Ey, y yo le llego.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think I've ever heard
And then I
a
listened
full
to-
Bad Bunny song.
It's good. Bad Bunny, J Balvin.
I'm sure it's great.
Do you have the girls? I'll bring them.
Wow. Anyways, next
Incredible.
song.
And then I listened to, this is bad, Tiesto's latest album. I was a teen clubber in Europe. It's
You
like
were
my
teen clubber
yes,
in Europe?
it's like my guiltiest pleasure.
You
is
were
like
a clubber?
yeah, I was really into clubbing in high school.
In high school?
Yeah, it's so embarrassing.
That's so weird.
I
That's
know.
such a weird
I
thing
know, but
about you.
I was really into clubbing. I was like a city kid in Brussels and London. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
just
I
like
guess
what
that's
you
fair.
do. Wear a bandage dress and go clubbing. Have a bad time.
It's very weird.
Yeah, so my guiltiest pleasure is like awful EDM music.
Oh, God.
It's really bad.
I can't possibly do that.
Anyway, the reason I bring up pump up songs is because both of us were on stage at South by Southwest. Josh was recording. I was talking to people. Very difficult for me. So we went down to Austin for the annual festival along with a number of our colleagues for the Fast Company Grill. The Grill is our outpost at the event that takes over basically all of downtown Austin. We had 3 days of panels and parties tackling topics from AI to entertainment to the resurrection of the woolly mammoth. So as we did last year, Josh and I recapped our time at South by with best friend of the pod. Wow, we're being nice today.
Bestie.
Fast Company senior editor Max Ufberg at the end of our time in Austin. And here is that conversation. So we're here at South by Southwest. I'm joined by our tech editor, Max Ufberg, and Josh.
I'm always here.
Josh is always here.
But I'm not.
And we're here to talk
guys.
about some of the highlights. And Max, you go first. What's been the highlight of your festival?
Well, I would say on the maybe lower brow list of highlights, I tried the Dubai chocolate.
Yeah.
I love the Dubai chocolate.
Is it viral? Like,
It's been viral for like a year.
How did
still
it? But I
seeing
feel like it's
TikTok
everywhere
shop.
now.
Yeah, I
It's
think there was
TikTok shop.
I think there was a Russian influencer who went to Dubai and posted about it. Like,
Psyops.
This is the plot of Anora. Didn't you see? Imagine if Anora was just all about that. It was
the
just
Dubai
it was
chocolate.
just branded content
Yeah.
for
or,
Dubai
or
chocolate.
she's like, instead of like, we'll offer you $10,000, they'll be like, we'll give you
offer
Dubai
you
chocolate.
Dubai chocolate.
I will say
Absolutely, I will divorce that man.
the lines to get into the Museum of the Future, which was the Dubai hosted activation where you could get the chocolate, were like they've been around the corner the whole festival.
Oh yeah,
I think mostly for the chocolate, which is crazy.
That's so funny.
yeah. I mean, it's like a $30 chocolate bar on the TikTok shop. So I mean,
Really?
I would stand in line.
I wonder if Saudi Arabia has a presence here. Suda. the
Suda.
Suda.
Oh my God. Suda. The Suda house would be great. The Riviera.
Josh, what's been your highlight?
My highlight, I would say, is I'll go to our own festival at the Fast Company Grill, our own event there. We kicked off the week with a great one-on-one chat on stage with Paul Feig. He was here premiering his new movie, Another Simple
Favor. I actually enjoyed the
Another
first.
Simple
The
Favor.
I haven't
first
seen
one.
the
really
first
liked
one.
the first
It was
one.
just kind of hokey and good. Like,
It's the Blake Lively, Anna Kendrick movie, for those who don't
it
know.
like a
They made
noir?
a sequel. Yeah, it's sort of
Well,
like a noir.
yeah.
It's like a little campy. It's like a comedy thriller sort of thing. But
what happened
a
to
little more
Henry
thriller.
Golding? He really fell off.
He did fall off. Yeah, I mean, I think after he made that weird movie with Khaleesi, it kind of fell off.
I
You
don't-
remember
I
that?
don't
Like
remember
Christmas
that movie.
where he was a ghost,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. Let's get him on the horn. let me dial him up real quick.
The Seventh Sense.
But another so I can't remember the name of this movie.
Another Simple Favor.
Another Simple Favor.
But Another Simple Favor has made a lot of headlines while it's been here. It's
Yeah.
probably been the biggest premiere, and we had
In
Paul-
fairness, some of the headlines, not all positive. A lot
Not
of
all
rumors that
positive.
Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick really don't get along.
I didn't see Casey's chat with Paul, but because I was backstage.
It was
preparing-
moderated by Casey Afine. He's you've heard him on the podcast before.
our events director.
Yeah.
But so I didn't get to see it because I was backstage preparing for my own panel, but I did catch a glimpse, and Paul was decked out in like a 3-piece suit.
Oh,
He
look
always
great.
is.
Always,
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
that's like his
He's got a
thing.
brand. Yeah.
He had like 8 rings on. He had red cowboy boots, and he was like, and it was very, very hot, and he didn't break a sweat. The man's a pro.
Man,
Yeah.
but
He
he's
looked
also in a
good.
situation where if you break a sweat in that outfit, you can't take your jacket off.
Yeah.
You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
It's just
You're
like
just
kind of like
trapped.
condensing all the sweat.
That's
and,
the
like,
thing. I feel like the vest really holds a lot in. Like, just
Yeah.
the floodgates just open. As I feel like if you're wearing that, you open it up and you just
Yeah,
have
exactly.
that like under man boob
under
sweat.
boob, yeah. Well, so one of the highlights for me is we recorded a podcast with Ben Lamb. He is the founder of Colossal Biosciences. Super interesting. And he was on a panel yesterday, and we had a surprise appearance from Joe Manganiello. I don't know how to pronounce
the
his name.
werewolf from True Blood.
Yeah.
Is
Oh.
what he's most
Wait,
famous
what?
for.
Host
and
of Deal or
Magic
No
Mike.
Deal
He was in
Island.
Magic Mike, right? Is
Yeah,
that
he was
true?
in Magic. Is that true?
I've literally never seen it, but I turned to Yaz because I'm like, this is your beat.
Is he like an investor in Colossal?
I actually-
I think he's just a fan.
Yeah,
I think he's just
a
into
fan.
it. He also
And
had his
showed up-
dog on
Yeah,
stage.
he brought his dog on stage that was like a Chihuahua.
Wow.
And all these women afterwards were like approaching him to be like, "Can I pet your dog?" And I was like,
Honestly,
"Babe."
he's one of the hottest men I've ever seen.
so
and he was
big.
just holding a little baby dog in a blanket.
Yeah.
He is a big Dungeons and Dragons player.
Yeah,
He
famously.
is, yeah.
I think he's maybe like just a big nerd.
Was he
Yeah.
in that WAPO feature on Dungeons & Dragons, or was it New York Times? Remember they did it
He
for
was
the 50th
in one of them. I know he
anniversary.
had like a custom table and chairs made
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah,
was
I
like-
saw photos because I wrote
You
about
wrote that
Yeah,
piece,
you wrote
yeah.
about them, and the Wizards of the Coast, which is the parent company, shared photos of Joe's D&D room in his house.
Hell yeah.
It was a lot nicer than any room in my house.
Yeah.
But Seemed great.
Of course it was.
But anyway, I thought it was a really interesting conversation. I think the company is super interesting, and I did love seeing Joe.
Yeah, I think there
Showed
was
up.
someone else who was supposed to be on the panel. This is a little palace intrigue. I think there was like a dropout last minute because, everybody's...
And somehow, and
Got stuff,
we
and
were like,
somehow-
let's text Joe.
yeah, somehow Joe Manganiello. Is that how you say his last name?
don't know.
No one knows.
No one knows.
No one knows. Well, because there's also the director, Joe, who has a similar name. You know what I'm talking about?
Pesci.
No. Someone, get at us in the comments. Correct us on, find us on Mosey.
Okay, I have a macro
cut that
level.
out.
I have a macro level thought on this year's South by Southwest. I feel like, and you both were here last year.
Yeah.
Last year felt like every company touted an AI play,
Oh, yeah,
regardless
uh-huh.
of how legitimate it was.
Yeah.
In the way that, like, a couple years before that, everybody had a Web3 play. And
Yeah.
this year, actually, to me, like looking at the panels, both at the FC Grill and the sort of like adjacent venues, but also the main South by Southwest conference, feels like much more varied.
I think AI is just table stakes now. So it's like a layer in every company, but
Totally.
you can't say that that's like your thing.
Which is actually really nice
Yeah.
for a conference because,
It's less boring.
yeah, and like you can talk about some real world like
Yeah.
applicability versus just
Yeah.
how the AI is going to work when it often doesn't vary that much.
Yeah.
Well, because most of these companies are just kind of importing ChatGPT or another sort of product, or it's literally like an AI gimmick. It's like some machine learning thing that they're like, "Oh, we got AI in this product," and they were slapping it on. Like I remember the most ridiculous product I saw was like, we have an AI driver for a golf club,
Right.
for a driver, and I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I,
Get out of here.
Anecdotally, I've heard this festival is bigger than previous years, and I have felt that like the grill is packed. I feel like there's
crazy.
lines everywhere. Yeah,
Record attendance for the Fast Company Grill and our sister company Inc.'s Founder House.
and I have so
events,
many
but-
more requests for coffees that I can't do.
Yeah.
I
Can't do or won't do. Little both.
also, like, I'm doing a few events on the South by Southwest official circuit, and yeah, it's really busy. I mean, last year was busy too. I also live in Austin, and
Yeah, you get a feel of it.
it just feels like there's more traffic. It's more chaotic than last year, which is saying something because it's always a 2-week span where most or many people who live in town leave.
Yeah.
right? 'Cause-
I feel like it's like a slow creep of like more and more like company takeovers. Like I feel it's
Yeah.
kind of like Cannes, where it's just like more and more.
Is it kind of like Can, Josh?
Yes, Yaz. Well, it's like a festival where it's just like more and more like just real estate gets taken over by another company, grabs a restaurant or a villa or some sort of bit of real estate. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because
No.
just all of that shit.
Max,
pops up.
you went to a Duplass Brothers event, which I'm so jealous of.
I did.
Tell me
was-
about it. What were they like?
Well, I did not speak to the Duplass brothers. They
Not
they
even
looked,
Jay?
No, but I
Is it
think
Jay? Is that the other one? It's Mark, and then
Mark
the
and
less
Jay.
famous one,
Yeah.
Jay.
I saw them. They looked just like they do on camera, and they.
Is one of them really big and one of them really small, or are they both the
No, I
same
think
size?
they're about the
This
same.
is the
Interesting.
content everyone came here for.
They seem to like
Seem like
roughly the
normal
same
sized
size. Yeah, pretty standard.
And that's
sizes.
the news you need to know today.
It was interesting. I mean, like, yeah, the cool thing about South by Southwest is this intersection of film, TV, tech, like all these worlds collide in a way that I don't know, they don't always.
Country tourism boards.
Exactly. I'm going to the Ireland house after this.
What was your favorite panel or panelist?
I did one on screen time
Mm-hmm.
and kids and the need for us to like unplug our kids.
So you're saying it's bad.
Yeah, it turns out screens are not great. No, but that was actually really interesting, and it was 3 panelists from Yonder, Yodo, different companies, Life 360, and yeah, they all take different approaches, both in their professional and sort of personal lives. Like it was interesting to hear they all have kids, to hear how they raised their kids with screens and how they sort of diverged from what they were doing as time went on, and it made me think if I have a kid, I definitely will slow walk that screen.
Something hilarious to me about Yonder was that New York Times feature about how, because they give them out in schools now, and every kid's figured out how to hack
Yeah.
it.
Also, apparently some kids, like my friend's a teacher, in the Bronx, and he said a lot of kids have like burner phones now.
Yeah. That's what that was in the article.
Oh, was it?
Interesting. Well,
but I still think they're doing the Lord's work.
Oh, yeah.
And
I like going to, like, I've been to comedy shows where they use it and concerts, and I actually think it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like, no one's filming the whole thing.
Yeah, I hate that. I mean, that's why I always like going. Somehow this hasn't. Theater etiquette is still maintained, like the no phones thing, which people mostly respect. Even in like Broadway shows where you have sort of like a danger mix of people sometimes overall. It's like the one live event where people generally do not pull out their phones if they have their phones on them, which I always enjoy.
Why is that? It's really cool.
I think it's because it's like
just-
it like actually interrupts the play. You know what I mean? It's
but
like
I mean,
using
if
your
you're at
phone in a
comedy
movie.
event.
Right.
Well, yeah, movies, people take out their phones.
Yeah.
But there's other live performances, like obviously concerts, obviously. Yeah, I think at some point it's kind of encouraged with people. People do want some social traffic overall. So I do think there is some benefit to different comedians or musicians or stuff like that having like organic traffic posted, but theater industry has just kind of really put a hard line on that, and they are really aggressive about it, like the ushers are. If someone does pull out their phone, like you get kicked out, which I think is good.
Josh, what has been your favorite panel that you've seen?
Well, I said the Paul Feig interview. I do want to give a plug for the Tarana Burke interview, which you did on the first day of the Fast Company Grill, which we're actually going to hear in a few minutes here on the podcast. That was one of my favorite panels
Tarana
overall.
Burke is, for those who don't know, founder of the MeToo Movement.
Author, activist.
Yeah.
Just really charming and smart and
Funny.
Yeah.
Just
really was just a great panel, so I'm excited for everyone to hear that.
Also,
and here's Max's thoughts on the Me Too movement.
I just want to say, I really like talking to Shara Tiku
Yeah.
from C16. They're a fermentation company. They make synthetic palm oil, which basically palm oil leads to deforestation and like it's really
And
bad
it's
for the
in
world.
Which apparently the
everything.
U.S. is pro now.
Right. So some people might be very anti C16. I like what they, but it was, she and I talked.
Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, however.
Yeah. I talked to her for like an
Ed
hour.
Williams' Ben Lamb's
Ben Lamb's close
personal
personal
friend.
friend. That was a weird.
That was weird, yeah.
It's like my buddy, Dougie Bergs.
We were like, what?
Really?
Yeah, he name checked Doug Burgum in his
Wow.
thing. I don't know. I
Damn.
don't really know.
Okay.
Anyways,
I like C16.
so C16, good for the
Yeah,
planet.
and Shara
Anyway,
Tiku's
sorry.
really
She's
impressive.
no, she's really cool. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it was like an hour-long chat, and just with a lot of these issues, getting a sense of this, like the scale, like the fact that palm oil's in like over 50% of our consumer goods, like supermarket goods. It's
Yeah, it's insane.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
We'll be back with Max for keeping tabs, but first, a quick break followed by my onstage interview from this past weekend's Fast Company Grill at South by Southwest with author, activist, and founder of the Me Too movement, Tarana Burke. Tarana Burke is a speaker, activist, and founder and chief vision officer of the Me Too movement and organization. We spoke about how the Me Too movement has evolved over the years, what to make of our current political situation, and whether any progress has actually been made. We're going out the deep end here.
Oh.
Difficult question to start. So just last week, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that he would run for mayor. We have a president and members of cabinet accused or convicted of sexual assault. How are you feeling about all this?
A little angry. I've been asked about this a lot, obviously, in the last week or so. The thing is, I just want us to do better and dream better and think bigger. The fact of the matter is, there's so many people who say that they care about this issue, right? And the issue of sexual and gender-based violence is really at pandemic levels in this country. Forget about around the world. Right here in the United States, it is at incredible levels. And so there are so many people, and I'm not talking about the boogeyman bad guys. I'm talking about regular, everyday people who are like, I want this to end. What can we do about it? Blah, blah, blah. What you can do is, when things like this happen, right, we say that out of one side of our mouth, and then the other side of our mouth, you have somebody like Cuomo, a governor who stepped down from his position, A governor who has both a Department of Justice investigation and an investigation by his own attorney general into the allegations against him as things that actually happened, which is why he stepped down. And here we are, because New York has a terrible mayor current. I'm a New Yorker, so I can say this. Let me just start by saying that.
I'm a New Yorker, I can agree with you.
Right. New York has a terrible mayor. It doesn't mean we have to take a terrible governor and make him our mayor, right? So if we actually want these things to stop, if we want to make an impact on the issue of sexual and gender-based violence, we have to figure out where the line is and hold the line. We keep moving it and pushing it. Well, okay, maybe we can take him. He's kind of a good, yeah, I know that happened, but that but right there, when you say that, that is exactly where the issue dies.
I was going to follow up and ask, what do you make of these men being able to make a comeback like this?
So first, let me just say, when I speak publicly, this is what most people want to hear, but I get asked about the bad actors all the time. I don't actually have an issue when people harm other people. There should be a pathway for both the person who caused harm and the harm doer to come back to whatever. I believe that. Now, I think sexual violence happens on the spectrum. Accountability should happen on the spectrum. So this is not just about throwing people away, but what most of us haven't witnessed is the thing that happens after the harm, right? Where is the accountability? Where is the person that comes back and says, I understand that this person was harmed and this is what I did to understand that better. This is how I've changed. We don't see that. What we see is people who disappear for a while and then they come back. So I don't think the majority of survivors, at least, are saying you need to be banished into Never Never Land and we never see you again. I probably shouldn't say Never Never Land, but whatever. I don't think that's what we're saying. But what we're saying is, if you want to be amongst civil society, we need to understand that you won't cause harm again, that you understand that you caused harm in the first place. And the biggest problem with a lot of these men who have these accusations and have these things that have actually been proven is that we don't see any of that, right? And then they go away, the survivors often demonized, and then they just reappear. And that's the problem I have.
Since this is not the right way to put it, but I think you'll understand the height of the MeToo movement in 2017. I'm talking about when you were named as, Times Person of the Year alongside others. Do you think we've seen a true cultural shift given all this recent news?
Yes. So here's the thing. Sexual violence has a history that goes all the way back to the Bible. There's no way that a hashtag was going to erase that, right? It was never going to happen. So I think the leaps and bounds that we've seen in the last 7 years, without that viral moment, would have probably taken 20 years. That said, we still have a ways to go. So I think because people are like, oh, well, in 2017 and 2018, blah, blah, when this happened, it was on the front page of the newspaper and there was days and days of information. Those things never last. Those moments never last. But what has lasted is the policies that have been changed, the laws that have been changed, but also the way people think and talk about it. We have given the world language and a way to talk about sexual violence. We've given survivors community and a place to put that burden of sexual violence, right? So there has been a cultural shift. It hasn't shifted enough. You're talking about powerful, not just men, just power structures that have existed for so long. Patriarchy is a structure that has existed for so long. So we've made a dent in that. Of course, the pendulum is going to try to swing back the other way, right? We would be foolish not to expect that. The difference is when it swings back this time, we're coming with a different analysis. I'm 51 years old. If you find a 21-year-old, right? 21-year-olds grew up with the MeToo movement. So they're going into college now with a particular analysis around that. They have less shame about talking about things that have happened to them, and they're really clear about what they will not allow to happen to them. Those are the kind of shifts that have happened in the last 7 years that are really important and often get lost in between the headlines of who's on the cover and who's not and who did this and who, Oh, thank you.
So on the MeToo Fund site, there are some annual reports, both on funding and then also you mentioned policies that have changed, for instance. What kind of trends have you seen over time, in those reports and in your work?
Funding for sexual and gender-based violence is at an all-time low. We've actually seen in the last probably 5 years, several of the public foundations that do support this work have either closed or have closed their portfolios that support this work. That predates this administration. It's something that has been happening globally. It is happening right here in the United States. So it is very difficult to fund the work to end sexual and gender-based violence. And I want to say on that point, we talk about this as something that's not solvable, but this is a solvable issue. And if you think about all these other issues that exist in the world, oftentimes people talk about them as solvable. When at the height of the HIV/AIDS crisis, people were always, scrambling, trying to figure out how to deal with it. And then we're going to get to zero. Remember that campaign? Get to zero. Because what that did psychologically is tell you that we can solve this with the right amount of resources, human, financial resources, we can solve this. I often use the example of Bloomberg. Follow me for a second. But Mike Bloomberg decided about 25 years ago that he wanted to make America smoke-free, tobacco-free. And what he did was he got some of his billionaire buddies, and they invested more than $20 billion with a B dollars over the last 25 years in making us smoke-free. Well, what do we know is different culturally from 25 years ago to now? You light a cigarette anywhere, people are like, oh my God, who's smoking, right? You used to be able to smoke on airplanes, y'all. Like, you could smoke in a hospital. Yeah. Those of us of a certain generation grew up with a dad smoking with the windows closed in the station wagon, right? Like, you could smoke everywhere. And now, yes, people still smoke, but we had multiple interventions because of that investment. And those were medical interventions, right? We had research that came out talking about secondhand smoke will kill you. We had legal interventions where the tobacco industry was sued. We had research interventions, and we had cultural interventions. All of those the lady, don't smoke because remember that lady with the thing, we remember those things, right? We had a movement. We had movement interventions where they had a movement to get cigarette machines out of schools. Imagine if that was the kind of intervention we had around sexual and gender-based violence, where we were having a curriculum in schools that taught children year over year about consent, not just one time in the 12th grade in front of a computer, right? Imagine if we had research that showed us the effects, the medical effects that sexual trauma has on people, right? So my point is, we need more funding across the board because this is a solvable issue if we want to solve it. And the data already exists that shows that it's happening in other places.
So I want to talk a little bit about social media.
Oh.
Hashtag MeToo was very powerful. But social media, are you still on X?
What is that? Oh, Twitter?
I couldn't find your account yesterday.
I'm going to tell you what. Somebody hacked my account. It's a true story. It's an old lady auntie story. Somebody hacked my account. I kept emailing them, and they didn't respond. I just let it go.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find you.
Yeah, it's on there somewhere. I don't know. So I'm not trying to sell you a MacBook for $10 on Twitter. Somebody hacked my account. I'm on Instagram.
Well, where I was going with that is social media has also kind of become a hotbed of abuse, of vitriol, of personal attacks against women and people of color.
Yes.
How do you think about that now? Do you think social media is still a useful tool?
Of course. I think tools, just because a tool becomes weaponized doesn't take away its usefulness, right? It's really about us and how we use it and the safety measures that we put in place. The panel that we did earlier, some of it was about tech-facilitated gender-based violence, which is I learned a phrase today I didn't even know. What was it? Something flashing. Cyber flashing? When you get them unsolicited pictures of the private parts?
The airdrops.
We call them something else. D-pics. There's an actual name for that. It's called cyber flashing, right? There's a new apps where they can undress you in a fully dressed picture, undressing apps. Character AI is another thing, but there's ways in which violence is being perpetuated through social media and online, and it's the new frontier. The same way we need, the laws and the rules are always 10 steps behind, but we know. And it's going to take, for those of us who know, those of us who have children who are exposed to that, or other people in our lives who are exposed to it, or ourselves, we need to be vigilant about it, and we need to be talking about the issues around this so that we can speed up and have the laws catch up to it. But I think social media is still useful. It just depends on how we use it. I'm going to also say this. I really feel like we're going to start moving back towards in-person, in real life connection. Social media is just not doing it. You know, after being inside for COVID and whatever, we really need to move. I think that people are going to start moving back to in real life connections and using social media as a way to figure out how to connect to people in real life.
Earlier, we talked about politics, and I think there's been a real focus on politics and entertainment when it comes to Me Too coverage. Do you think that kind of coverage can sort of minimize or be detrimental to kind of your work in other fields?
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges and probably the saddest part of the viral moment around Me Too is that it created so much attention around people who cause harm or people who have been accused of causing harm. And I tell people this all the time. You had millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people around the world who raised their hand to say, this happened to me too. Y'all wouldn't know me. You wouldn't know the hashtag. You wouldn't know any of that if it wasn't for the people, not the celebrities, right? Not the politicians, not the entertainers. And then we immediately took our eyes off the survivors. And so it is harmful when the news cycle is only talking about the Me Too movement when some other person has been accused, or to tell us that we're dead again, because, you know, we die once a year. We hotter than Jesus, honey. We get dead and resurrected like once a year. But that's the only time people want to talk about the Me Too movement is when they want to either criticize it, blame it for something, or like, where is it now when so-and-so's been accused? And the truth of the matter is this is a movement that has empowered so many survivors, that has helped so many find community, that has been such a catalyst for healing and action, which is what our organization is about, right? And we created the organization to be a container for the movement because we knew we couldn't depend on mainstream media or politicians to do that.
Now, speaking of people declaring your movement dead or the movement dead, what is your response to people who claim that Me Too is a witch hunt?
Oh, God. Let me tell you something. What I think that people fail to realize is just how pervasive sexual violence is. Not was, but is in this country. And when you think about how pervasive it is, and then you have a moment where there might be some catharsis, right? Just a moment where people are like, wait, I can say this out loud. I can pull this thing that I've been holding in the pit of my stomach for 40 years. That's what it was. It was people who were releasing trauma, releasing agony, releasing this, and there were consequences to that. So it's not a witch hunt, right? What really saddens me is patriarchy messes everybody up, right? It's not just men. It's all of us. All of us were raised in patriarchy. All of us were socialized in it. And because of that, when you had these women, or mostly women, who got up to tell their stories, what most people heard was a man's life being ruined. But they couldn't hear a woman's life being saved, right? Because that patriarchy has us so messed up. Patriarchy has us in such a chokehold that even when a woman is just trying to save her own life, we still think about the man whose life is being ruined. And that is fundamentally the problem. We have to fix that. We have to shift that so that there's enough space for us to get what we need. Those of us who are survivors, who are trying to release that and just find the resources, or the community, should be able to release that. Now, here's the other thing. I just had this whole conversation about believe survivors online, this other conversation I had the other day. We say believe survivors because we want survivors to have the respect and dignity of investigation, right? If you believe me, you won't try to undermine me. You won't try to ask me questions like, why were you wearing this, or what were you doing, right? You're going to start from the premise that I'm telling the truth. And if you think somebody's telling the truth, then you're going to help them get the resources they need, the guidance they need. Sometimes that's investigation. And that helps everybody involved, right? If you're the person being accused, or you're the person has the accusation, everybody involved should be treated with respect and humanity. It's not going to always be comfortable, though. There's a misconception that you deserve comfort, that we have to create a life where you're never uncomfortable. That investigation might be uncomfortable, right? But at the end of the day, when a person is harmed, there should always be something to deal with the harm that was caused.
You know, you mentioned technology, for example, and the sort of new frontiers or dangers there might be. How do you think about allocating your attention?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we split our attention a few ways. One, in terms of technology, is something that we call digital direct service. When Me Too went viral again, so many survivors now had this language of Me Too. And of course, when they felt harmed or triggered or whatever, they were like, well, what can Me Too do for me? And so one of the things that we wanted to do really quickly was set up, well, two things. We set up a database. So we have probably one of the largest databases of resources on our website, on MeToo International's website. And those resources are deeply diversified. So when I was doing this work in communities with young Black girls in the South, I could never find resources that were specific to them. So when we built our resource database, we wanted to make sure you could filter to find yourself. So you can be, I don't know, a disabled trans veteran and a survivor. You could be whatever, like you can put all of these things in. You can say, this happened to me in college, this happened to me as a child, whatever, so that you can find what you need specifically. So that's one thing. The other thing we have is our Pride and Joy Survivors Sanctuary. And it's an online healing platform. It's really beautiful, y'all. You should all just have access. It is free, of course. So Survivor Sanctuary is a place for survivors literally to find sanctuary. We have a variety of videos from as short as 5 minutes to as long as 30 minutes. And they take you through all kinds of different places. Most people don't understand the lived experience of survivors. And, you know, there's a lot of resources for people who just had that experience and don't realize that some of us have had these experiences for 30 years and we need access to those kind of resources. So Survivor Sanctuary provides that. The other way we split our attention is, again, today in another panel, my panelist said something I thought was really great, that he always saw survivors as like a glass case, like a fragile glass case or the glass box. Now he sees this differently because he does this work. We are always engaging survivors of sexual and gender-based violence from a place of pity, right? If you notice, even when we drag folks out to tell their stories, these politicians want us to testify, they want to hear these dirty, deep down, dark stories of our trauma. But survivors are the most powerful people that you can encounter because we've already come through the worst of the worst and landed on the other side. And so we engage survivors from a place of power. The other part of our work is about building power. I'm really excited about the idea of building a constituency. Imagine us voting along the lines of our survivorship. Imagine survivors, and there's millions of us, as a voting bloc. So we are focusing a lot of our energy in building survivor power. That's not just politically, right? We are really interested in that. A lot of you might have seen our campaign, Survivors Vote, we just had this past year. We have a U.S. network called Survivors Agenda. We built the first ever agenda, political agenda, by survivors, for survivors, from them. So I'm really interested in how we take that trauma, how we take those experiences and turn them into power for people. And then the third thing is our work is global. So we're called MeToo International because it's a global movement. And we really needed to find a vehicle to touch those people who were reaching out to us right after MeToo went viral and were like, how do I start MeToo Ethiopia? How do I start MeToo Australia? And we were like, wait, give us a minute. Let's think about this. Now we have a network that is, right now, it's growing, but it's in Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. And some parts of Europe, we have an at-large part of it that is 134 organizations across, 60 countries or 70 countries. So it is really beautiful because we come into that conversation not from a place of like U.S. imperialism, right? Like the U.S. has all the answers and we come to solve your little problems in your little brown countries. We come to it saying, listen, what's happening here is also happening in America, but we don't like to name it in America. We will put headlines out to say, think about the woman who was beheaded by her boyfriend in South Africa, whatever. Guess what? That happened in Oakland too. What happens in other places happens here. And so our global network is really about what can we do together that we can't do separately. We're going to be bringing back another digital tool soon called Act 2. We had built the world's first digital social activism search engine, and we're rebuilding it now. And part of that is so you can find the podcasts and the books and the articles and things you need to read to get real information about this issue. because it really is everywhere. There's not a single person within the sound of my voice who has not been affected by sexual and gender-based violence. None of you. I promise you that. And so we should all care about it as much as we care about everything else.
I think that's a great place to end it. Tarana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are back with Max, and it's time to wrap up the show with Keeping Tabs. This is where each one of us shares a story, a trend, or a piece of pop culture we're following right now. And Max, since you're our guest, what are you keeping tabs on?
This week, Trump held his first crypto summit. It's actually the first of its kind. Basically, all the leaders of the sort of top crypto firms gathered in D.C., and they broadcast the meeting to the public. And it showed, just in a very visceral way, Trump's embrace of crypto.
And his mastery of the concept of the blockchain.
Did you guys watch any video from the...
I saw
Not
a couple
yet.
clips.
I will. I need to.
I don't know. It's one of those things where you got to be in the right mood for that. Gotta
Yeah.
gear up.
From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think... It's not like the meeting itself necessarily led to any grand revelations, but...
When do these meetings ever do? These summits?
Right. But the thing, I mean, it did remind us about Trump's own personal stake in crypto.
Yeah.
A lot of watchdogs and ethics types are sounding the alarm.
Well, when it's so nakedly self-dealing at this point, like the strategic crypto reserve, and he's just like,
Yeah.
and Solana is included in this, which his and Melania's coins just happen to be built on. So it's,
Yeah. There was, at the crypto summit, Zach Witkoff was in attendance, who, in addition to being the son of one of Trump's friends, he's a founder of World Liberty Financial, which is the crypto business that Trump promoted last year.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
from which he has benefited financially.
also
quite a bit.
sounds like a fake company. It kind of is.
World
but
Liberty Financial is very funny.
it's not as fake sounding as Super Microcomputer. It's just still my favorite.
It's true.
Favorite company.
Josh, what are you keeping tabs on?
So equally as highbrow as a crypto summit, I'm keeping tabs. I'm actually serious about this. I'm keeping tabs on the Boy Meets World drama.
Right, right.
So for those who don't know,
For those who may not know.
so like every, I don't know, has-been old TV star, Danielle Fishel, who played Topanga, Will Friedle, who played Eric, was that his character's name? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And Ryder Strong, who played Sean, have pretty much nothing else going on except for a podcast that they started together about Boy Meets World, essentially. I do not remember what it's called, but some drama popped up recently.
Isn't it Pod Meets World?
Is it Pod Meets
I
World?
actually have no idea what Boy Meets World's about, by
Pod
the way.
Saves
But
World?
I somehow know.
It's Pod Saves the World.
They're coming for the Pod Save America guys.
So you didn't know. Yeah. Danielle Fishel is now the new host of Pod Save America. She has a lot of thoughts on the Democratic's messaging problems. Well, anyways, so there's this beef that cropped up between Danielle Fishel and Maitland Ward, who every man listening to this right now is like, oh, who's Maitland Ward? I don't know Maitland Ward. So Maitland Ward is currently an adult film star who was Rachel on the later seasons of Boy Meets World. She was like the sex pot roommate of Will Friedle's character.
And she's
the
like
other Lauren's
constantly
brother.
talking to TMZ. She's like a person who is like
Constantly
in
talking to
tabloids
TMZ.
all the time.
So anyways,
about Boy Meets World. Like, what does she talk to TMZ about?
just about a lot of
She'll
different
be like,
stuff.
"Hey TMZ, I'm like walking around in a bra in this part of town," or like,
Yeah.
and they'll
Okay.
like go photograph her and stuff.
Yeah. So she basically, I think this was a while ago, she's talked to TMZ and said something like, oh, I sent this message back to Danielle Fishel years ago that she ignored on Facebook and she doesn't like me and some stuff like this. And so it's basically all comes down to like a 2013 message that Maitland Ward sent to Danielle Fishel saying, congratulations on your engagement, and then Girl Meets World. And then Danielle Fishel never replied, and so this has basically led to them having a Maitland Ward on the podcast recently, and they kind of just like hashed out their beef, and it was
But they didn't hash it out. Like it ended with them hating each other.
yeah, they
and
just
it's
hated
extremely
each other.
long.
It was like this extremely long interview, and honestly, like nobody comes out looking good in this situation. It's the most petty thing in the world, and I'm so here for it.
So Danielle Fishel, what is she doing aside from the podcast?
She may be in they remade Girl Meets World.
So
Oh,
yeah, they
right.
did that. That is no longer happening. Sabrina Carpenter was on that, and I don't know. Ben Savage ran for Congress at some point. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm sure she has some sort of lifestyle brand,
or just like Hallmark shit. You know.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's some
I
good,
don't really know.
That's some good beef.
It's good drama.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's the most meaningless
It's also
garbage
still
in the
unclear
world.
why they hate each other, but that's okay.
I mean, I think undergirding the whole thing, and I think what Danielle Fishel has said in other interviews is that, like, the Boy Meets World and that sort of world, she feels alienated from it because of her, like, career path as an adult film star. So I think that's sort of undergirding the whole thing of just feeling judged. They didn't really even bring that up. I don't think.
Who's the adult film? Sorry.
Maitland.
Did you say
Maitland?
Ward?
You
Oh,
said
I thought you
Danielle.
said
Yeah.
I was confused. No. I was
Methinks he doth protest too much.
no. You said Danielle.
No, Topanga's not an adult film star.
Right.
No. Maitland Ward is, who played Rachel.
I'm like, one more time. What's her name?
So 1 second, let me write this down. So are we talking browsers? Yes, what are you keeping tabs on?
So I'm a huge Bong Joon-ho fan. Parasite was amazing.
he's
Memories
good.
of Murder, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Mickey 17 is going to be so good. I
Yeah.
believe it's coming out soon. But he did recently say that he would only direct one franchise movie, and he would like to do Alien. Sounds amazing.
Oh.
But he would like to do it as a musical.
Hell yeah. I think there already
It's like
is like a
Rocky
spoof
Horror
musical.
Picture Show.
Honestly,
And Alien combined.
That would
Not
be
Rocky
incredible.
Horror Picture Show. What's the one with the plant?
Joker 2?
Little Shop
yeah,
of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Amelia Perez.
Yeah, if they made Amelia Perez into a musical, they could make.
Honestly, like Alien as a musical is this sort of like fever dreamy, dark musical. Aliens would be maybe my favorite movie ever.
Would the alien sing?
Yes. In my version of this.
I mean, like I'm
Would it have a
imagining.
night? What voice? Like, what singer would do that voice?
Oh no, there's some good choices for
Josh
this,
is
for
taking
the
this so
Alien.
serious.
I am
Lady
taking
Gaga,
this very
maybe?
seriously. Lady Gaga. Well, I mean, I don't want to gender the alien necessarily. Well, there could be any number of people that could do it. I have no idea who would play the alien as a voice.
Hugh Jackman?
Oh God, that'd be terrible. Absolutely not.
I don't belong in Hollywood.
Let's get Russell Crowe.
Let's get
Crowe
Russell
back.
Crowe to do it. I'm trying to think of someone with like a really malleable, interesting voice.
I don't know. I feel like Lady
Oh,
Gaga's
you know what?
like
This is gonna be a
abracadabra
thing.
energy feels right to me.
Yeah. I'm thinking, actually, I would love to see someone like Joshua Henry do it. It's a Broadway star.
You think we know who
Such a
Joshua
malleable
Henry is?
voice. So good.
Is that so? Not
or
Lady
Stephen
Gaga.
Pasquale?
Who's
Not Lady
Stephen
Gaga.
Pasquale.
So Stephen Pasquale, he's done a bunch of film and TV stuff. He's a big Broadway star. He was in that show Rescue Me. Does anyone remember that with Dennis Leary?
Yeah.
Over there,
The
he
firefighting?
played the dumb firefighter. He had some episodes where he did sing over there. Beautiful voice, great actor.
Well, that's it for Most Innovative Company.
Stick with me here. No. We need to keep this going.
And that's it for Most Innovative Companies, y'all. Our show, incredible.
Goes to Texas for 3 days.
Oh, my exes live in Texas.
All right, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
And that's it for Most Innovative Companies. Max, thank you for joining us. Our show is produced by Avery Miles and Blake Odom with help from Sam Gebauer and Hawa Atori, editing by Matt Toder, mix and sound design by Nicholas Torres, and our executive producer is Josh Christensen. Remember again to subscribe, rate, and review, and we will see you next week.